Welcome to Made in Walker, the podcast that connects you to the people, the stories, and the ideas shaping our community. From local innovators to everyday change makers, we're diving deep into what makes Walker a great place to live, work, and grow. Here's your host, Nicole DiDonato.
A new facility, gym, has opened its doors in Walker, specializing in cheer, tumbling, and stunting. It's called FOE All-Stars, and I'm pleased to have one of the owners, Tank Johnson, and also head coach and co-director, Braden, here with us. Thank you both for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Tank, let's start with you, one of the owners. It's actually one of four. Tell us all about FOE and what inspired you all to bring this facility to Walker.
Yeah, so FOE is an all-star cheer gym. Really, it's just a place for athletes to thrive. FOE stands for family over everything. That's big for us. Cheer is really a big unit of individuals that come together for one. So we didn't necessarily start off wanting to create our own gym, but out of a necessity, we did. And yeah, we were very blessed and fortunate to bring it to Walker.
And what exactly does a facility like this hold, or, an offer for families?
Sure. So the biggest thing is a focus on cheer. So if you think about sideline cheer at a football game or a basketball game, and you add an extreme technique of throwing athletes in the air and spinning and twisting, and then a series of tumbles, which are backflips and cartwheels and just a high level of flexibility on the ground. That's kind of all-star cheer in a nutshell.
It is. You all had your open house later in March, just a few weeks ago. That was pretty impressive to see. About 100 families, several hundred folks ended up showing up. You have a good support system right here, it looks like.
Yeah, we're extremely blessed. Like, we didn't think we would have that level of turnout. But I think last check, we had over 400 people come through the door. Yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah. And Braden, being a head coach, cheer has been your life as well. How did you initially kind of get started in this?
Yeah, I actually love telling this story because I started in middle school and I was playing football at the time. And some of my football friends, I'll call them friends for now, dared me to go to cheerleading tryouts just to mess around with play with the girls' heads and stuff in middle school. And then so I went to cheer tryouts, and it comes down to that family feeling again, like the way that I felt way more accepted and was having more fun and felt like I could actually thrive and grow in the cheerleading environment is what made me go from thinking I was just going to do it on a dare to taking it all the way through college now on scholarship and getting the opportunity to be a head coach at this cheer gym and a co-director, all just from one little dare. But yeah, finding my family, finding my roots, and all my friends in cheerleading has been huge.
Yes, and now going into that head coaching role and just helping foster the athleticism and that teamwork and family culture with these kids, what's that been like?
It's been really great because whether it's a little 5-year-old who's never even seen a cheerleader do a flip to some of these girls or boys who have been in cheer and have felt that same type of family, watching them find joy back into whether maybe they thrive in tumbling, maybe they love to do their flips, they love to do their cartwheels, or maybe they're more of somebody who loves lifting people up in the air or love getting lifted up in the air. People being able to find where they thrive the best when it comes to cheer, or maybe that's just being a good vibe on the team. You can be just as important to that team aspect for all-star cheer or stunt if you are just being that hype person all the time. Sure. When it comes to all-star cheer, you don't have the sideline and you're not cheering for a football team. You're cheering for each other in the gym.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's kind of a thing that, as a cheer dad, you always think cheerleading is like a woman's sport or a young lady's sport, but there are a ton of men in that sport and boys in that sport who are just as athletic, just as flexible. And it's a great dynamic when they come together.
It really brings it to another level when you see these performances.
Yeah.
So what kind of programs and such, if families are looking into possibly moving maybe gyms or getting started with their children in this types of sport, what do you offer at FOE?
Yeah, I mean, maybe do you want to take that one? Yeah.
So right now, we just opened up, and so right now we have our spring training program. We're offering this as a way for those families who maybe had to step away from cheer for a little bit, finding them and these athletes a way to get back into cheer, dip their toe back in the water, get their bodies moving again. So we offered this spring training. We're offering it in 2 sessions. We're finishing up our first session this week, actually. And so we offered both tumbling classes in partnership with our Prestige Athletics partnership, and they're some of the best tumbling coaches around in all of Michigan, if not in this whole region. So we partnered with them to offer some tumbling classes so that they can get their bodies flipping. We have different levels for that. We're also offering stunting classes, and that's with our FOE staff. So me, Coach Tina, and Coach Chelsea are helping them find the fundamentals with stunting. So whether they're brand new to it or they are coming back into the all-star cheer flow, we're getting them moving again, getting them lifting, find that strength training, that flexibility so that they can get back into stunting. So we're offering that. Our session 2 for spring training is still open for registration, and that session 2 runs from April 13th until May 15th. And you can go to our socials to see what those classes look like and all that jazz. But whether you have never seen cheer before and want to get going on it, or if you maybe stopped a couple years ago and are thinking like, I want to have my family again, come into this spring training, get ready for it, because we will then have our tryouts at the end of May. That'll be for our official all-star teams. That's when we're really hitting the ground running, because from there we'll have our all-star programs where it'll be official teams that will compete throughout the year. We also will be offering stunt, which is a new sport that just recently got NCAA championship status. It is an all-girls sport, so it does also get Title IX protections. And with it getting that NCAA championship status, there's more scholarship opportunities as well as more resources once they get to that college level. So with this club stunt that we'll be offering, it's going to allow these athletes to hone in on their technique for their all-star cheer if they decide to do a little bit of both. Then it'll also provide more opportunities for them going into college. And with that, our last thing that we're like really offering and pushing is going to be our College Pathways program. And what we're doing with that is we have 3 college coaches on our coaching staff. I coach at Davenport. Coach Tina coaches at GV, and then Coach Chelsea was a former coach of Ferris State. And so all of us have these connections with different college coaches all across the United States. So we're really helping juniors and seniors find where they're going to thrive best. So if there is an athlete who loves sideline cheer, who like really just wants to focus on that, they don't care about the competition, they just want to be able to go and cheer on a team and be proud for whatever university they go to, maybe we point them towards the direction of like a University of Florida. They're a big sideline team. If they're wanting something competitive, maybe we point them towards the Grand Valley or Davenport, because we're huge when it comes to competition. So College Pathways, All-Star Cheer, and Stunt the Sport. That's our 3 main programs that we're really pushing.
Yes, yeah, that's keeping those kids busy, and a lot of opportunities as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
It is. Yeah, and I think one of the things that when we created FOE, we won't say anyone can create a cheer gym, but we did want to create something that parents could look forward to if you like cheer and you do want to continue and go to college for that. Here's a stepping stone where, our proven coaches can help get you there. So it's just something that's different that we didn't have at our last gym that we do believe is a great asset to go forward.
I think we were talking when I first met you as well as just making it a place. It can be, you spend a lot of time there, obviously, with a lot of practices and such. And that means maybe bringing your younger siblings along. So you're kind of providing those spaces that if the family has to be there for the evening, you're not without what you would need if you were home or something.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a big part of the selection process of the building. And again, you nailed it. Most of our athletes will meet 2 to 3 times a week for kind of a minimum of 2 hours. And like me, I'm a dad of 4, and 3 of my girls go with me pretty much everywhere. So there is homework that's involved. There are, reading, just extracurriculars that have to take place. So our building has a parent room. And it's separate from the gym. It has a nice viewing area with tinted windows so the athletes can't see in, but the parents can see out. We also have, a nice high definition camera system that we have a projector in the parent room where families can see their athletes performing while sitting comfortably in the parent room. And there's plenty of desk and sitting area where kids can do their homework and extracurriculars. Nutrition is big for us. So we wanted to make sure we had a kitchen, a kitchen where you could bring your dinner or your lunch or whatever your meal schedule is like. And if you're like me, I bring work home. So there's a coffee station in there as well where you can get your coffee and recharge. And then we have a nice conference room. So if you need to take a private meeting, you can step aside in that space and take that as well.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool having belonged to another gym, just kind of seeing what are some of the additions and things that I would appreciate if I were doing that, and then bringing it to your very own gym. You've thought of everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, you spend a lot of time together, and it's not to badmouth other places, but if you have the ability to pick a place that fits your needs better, we want to do that. Yeah. And we think that building lands on a lot of that.
Yes, yeah. And what was interesting too is going through the planning commission journey. You all had to do that. I think they had to rezone the building just so it could be used for this indoor gym. But you had the ceiling height, you had everything you needed. So I'm glad that was a good process for you to go through.
It was, and we love that ability to come and tell that story. Yeah. So the planning commission was great in hearing what we wanted to create, and then they pointed out some great things that, just wasn't even on our radar. Think about parking. They were very gracious because we moved in during the winter months and you couldn't, create the parking space that was needed, but they were very helpful through the journey and giving us some guidance. And now we're ready to rock.
Yes. Yeah. Look at that. Did you ever think that you'd be here already? So
yeah, not that quick, but we are.
Yeah. Oh, so telling us this, you're pulling in people from around the region, really.
Yeah. So some of the location of that building was strategic, making sure that we were close to a major freeway. And we still can pull from Grand Rapids, but we can pull from the lakeshore communities. We even have families coming as far as Kalamazoo, up this way. So the location is perfect. It gives us the ability to be successful and make it accessible.
Yes. And again, just what you'd said, family is just such a big part of that. So aside from like the athletic skills, what are the other types of culture that you're really trying to instill in your athletes?
Yeah. So I think cheer is such a team dynamic sport where in other sports like football, if someone messes up a play, doesn't catch the throw on the first down, you have a second down to try again. With cheer, we have like a 2-minute, 30 seconds routine. If somebody misses one count and throws off the rest of the routine, the music keeps going. You got to keep going. You got to find a way to pick that teammate up that had a little oopsie daisy and keep going with the routine. So the way that it builds on trust for each other, for your teammates, because when you got somebody in your hands and you're throwing them 5 feet in the air, if you're the one going up, you're trusting that they're catching you. And if you're the one catching, you're hoping that they're doing their job up in the air so that they come down safely. So trust is a big thing when it comes to cheerleading. And it's also just so fun. Skillflation is what we're calling it right now. And cheerleading is there's always a new skill to be learned. You're never topped off when you're training in for cheer. There are still 30-year-olds still doing cheer and still trying to get new skills because there's always something more. And that's what's so fun is that drive, that trust that you can continue your journey no matter what when it comes to cheerleading.
Yeah. And the bond. I mean, take the time together aside, but you nailed it. I mean, there is a trust factor that has to exist. But we do that not only in the gym, but we do it outside of the gym. So we have designated team bonding events, and some of them are like going to Michigan Adventures and having fun. And some of them are a pool party, some are a beach day, but it allows you to connect with one another outside of the gym. Because at the end of the day, we all have a lot of the same concerns and struggles and gifts. So it's about connecting and just relating at a different level and sometimes in a different space.
I love that perspective. Yeah. And where do you see yourself, 5 years or so, or just down the road? What are some of the aspirations? I know you just opened, but we're talking, next steps. But
yeah,
if you've thought that far.
Yeah, ideally, we would love to be great in this space. We are classified as we will be a D2 or a small gym. And we would love to be extremely dominant and good in that space from a performance standpoint. But if we're blessed enough to go to a D1 and be able to become a larger gym, we would love to do that. And we believe we have the space to be able to do that. We definitely have the coaches to be able to execute and draw in that type of talent. But I think more than anything, success would lie in looking back and seeing athletes whether they stay in the cheer space or not, for them to be better humans, right? Someone who can pull on their cheer journey and say, I learned some life skills because of cheer. I learned some life skills because of the families that I connected with. And that, to me, would take all the awards and banners aside, that would be a true definition of success, you know?
That does. I can just imagine that. Well, we're so blessed to have you in the community and grateful that you chose Walker to open your doors, and very excited to see where you all go next. So Tank and Braden, thank you both so much for your time with this podcast.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Made in Walker podcast. If you have comments or questions about this podcast, or if you have suggestions for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop us an email at podcast@walker.city. Made in Walker is the official podcast of the city of Walker, Michigan. You can find Made in Walker wherever you get your podcasts.